So you know ostriches, Hannah Fry, in the mating season, I think it's just the males, their legs go bright red. And I remember my uncle telling me a joke because we went to see him once. He lived in Zimbabwe, but he was writing up his PhD, which he did through Rosshamsted, because he needed computers to do the statistics, and he did a PhD in animal husbandry, and he worked on a research centre. So it was Rhodesia at the time, I think, when he came. I'm pretty sure it was before 1980. He came up to London for a few weeks and we went to see him. And was it Whipsnade? It must have been. I have in my mind that it was Whipsnade Zoo that we went to. And we saw the ostriches. And he said, well, their legs go red and they get very angry and dangerous. And he said, you'd get angry and dangerous if your legs went red. And I was thinking of all these physiological responses to romance with a capital R. And I kind of depends who she is, the response. But I remember with one person, my ears went red, bright red. They must have looked like traffic lights. They felt like they were burning. And with others, my lips fill with blood, and it's like it's a feeling very, very intense around the edges. I don't know what it looks like, but and I've seen it in women. My friend Elizabeth Mamani once spent half an hour with her boyfriend sitting on the steps a little bit up from where I used to sleep in Cochabamba, and they were sitting there talking or making out or something, and she walked past, and my God, she was so beautiful. And that's what happens. That's your body just crying out for somebody. But it passes. But I definitely do not get that with men. So I'm making the second part of my video about psychological and physiological sexuality. And I'm sure there's a lot in this, and I'm sure there's plenty of books written about it, and I just haven't read them. But I'm sure that if young people don't know these things, and I wasn't taught them, I don't ever remember actual descriptions of what happens to you. They were all very feeble. But it may be that nobody's actually catalogued, nobody's actually properly studied this, I don't know. Because these events are probably so damned rare in our culture because of how fucked up it is. I mean, it is really fucked up. Everything is fragmented and broken. The society is fragmented. People's lives are fragmented. It's horrendous. And this is part of what happened to me when I went to Bolivia. My life came back into one piece. I actually had enough autonomy just for a few months, and I got it together. That's all it takes, a few months out of this fucking madhouse, and it'll work. But here I can't do shit. Absolutely fucking nothing. I'm just building this ridiculous fucking edifice of God knows what, and feeling all the time like there's more that needs to be integrated, because there's these other things that seem to be important to people that I'm not connecting. I'm not doing my job properly. I haven't connected these things yet, so how the fuck am I supposed to decide what to do? And you have the same problem, huh? You're pissing around all over the world doing all these things for people with billions of dollars. That isn't it. I don't know what to do. Just carry on doing what I'm doing. And I've got to go to the fucking job centre and justify my time, and I can't. I wrote to Ursula Martin on her contact form at Oxford. We met, I'm sure she'll remember. We had a really interesting conversation about Bach fugues and patterns and symmetry. I think Dan Tidar was there. I haven't found Dan either. Dan lives used to live just across the road from me. I should go and look for him. But right now I need to go for a walk, because otherwise I won't survive the night. Fucking crap. And yeah, it's all very well focusing on yourself and all that, but I kind of feel that a sort of obligation to focus on my family a bit. I thought they were looking after themselves, but I didn't think they were. I think they just fell apart. They got into some crazy fucking crap, posting things on Facebook, and while their son was on the street in South America, going on holiday and to England and having a great time, and now they can't speak to me. Sorry I'm so angry. I'm not angry at you, Hannah. Well, only a little bit. Those trailers you put up, the first 5, it looked completely sane. And now it's just this fucking mental nonsense. It's absolutely bonkers. What if pain was optional? Sure, pain is optional. You can have epidural. You can take opioids. At that village that I lived in Bolivia, the village in the forest, San Jose de Uchupiamanos, there's a group of people called they called them the Grupo Puente, the bridge group, and it was run by a guy called Cristobal Colombo. I think that's what he called himself. Sounds unlikely, doesn't it? Who used to bring a whole lot of dental students to the village every year, and they'd pull everyone's teeth that needed teeth pulling. They'd spend 2 days pulling teeth because dental students need to get experience on pulling teeth, and you don't want to have to do that on people who've bought expensive health insurance all their life to pay for it. So you send the students to Bolivia and you pull their teeth free. And put some money in the Caja de Salud. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I tell you what, there's no way that Caja Salud had hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on medical attention for the people in the village. But maybe they just took the money. It's fucked up. Write a fucking book. I'd be writing the rest of my life. And then I could just roll on and start writing about writing the book. Because that's what I'd be doing from the minute I got to Bolivia. I'd be writing about trying to write a book. God, I'm spitting blood now. It's good, probably because my testosterone has picked up. Got a new box of matches. And they're very potent little matches. God. This book by Stephen Felt, acoustology, what does he call it? It sounds very interesting. It's very hard to read on a phone screen though, and it'll probably be better on the computer. But it's beautifully written. Four lectures, it's called. And what does he call it? It's kind of anthropology with sound. And he did that, a lot of it in Papua New Guinea, which is what Pink Floyd's Obscured by Clouds it was a soundtrack for a documentary or a film about some anthropological studies in Papua New Guinea. So this is the murder investigation. We're back on the genocide. We're back on the hunt for crimes against humanity, which now are just so numerous that fuck this shit. You can't be accused of genocide because you're not killing any particular race. You're just killing people that know shit. Shut them down. Shut them up. Shut them down. Fuck them up. Get them to kill themselves. Pretend it's all fucking normal and they're all fucking mad. Take the horses away. They don't have anyone to talk to. That whole thing has been on misery mode. I don't really have the option to be too kind to myself, because if I'm not hurting or tired, then my mind is fucked. And that was how I lived in Cambridge. I had to be exhausted to be happy. I had to be physically exhausted, and that was the other thing, was coca. I didn't need that anymore. So I could just chew a few coca leaves and I could sit there 14 hours writing, and that's how I managed to get stuff done. And I can't do that here. It don't work. And no matter how many fucking workshops I go to, it's not gonna work. See if I calm down. Just carry on. What a fucking mess of a video. I sent a text message. My daughter doesn't reply to my text messages. She's doing this control by withdrawal. So I sent her a message saying, please can you tell me your mother's phone number or email address? And I get no reply to that either. The substance. We all know what that is, don't we, Hannah? The substance. Make your own mini-me. And don't let it have autonomy. Because, you see, it's bad for me. The purpose of a heart is not to love. The purpose of a heart is to restrain, because a universal physical law is that the only things that happen because there's no reason why they should not happen. So it's to give them a reason they should not happen, that we have will. That's what free will is, and that's what it's for. It's to put intention back into your life instead of determinism. And it's to take control of your destiny instead of leaving it to your environment, which is mostly a product of what you do. But we're all just mad fucking dogs trying to fly, flapping around the place. Yeah, I had a pee now, maybe I'll calm down a bit. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Trying to make a movie with Myra West and 200 women called Victoria Ryder. trying to write a book with Ada Lovelace. There was a real hint in Toby's thing about Ada Lovelace, the first computer program. I think it's good that Autodesk guy, I've forgotten his name, formilab.ch is his business, or his personal website or something. He was the kind of principal guy behind AutoCAD, I think. And he took all his stuff to Switzerland. I should try some different camera angles. And if I line up so that the reflection to my eye is in one of the reflection of the moon is in one of the cameras, then what happens? Well, I can't find the moon. There it is. The moon is now reflected in the top camera. So I don't know which camera it's. And now it's in the bottom camera now. And no, lost it again. Now it's in the bottom camera in my left eye. It's in the top camera in my left eye. And now it's in the top camera in my right eye. And now it's in the bottom camera in my right eye. And now it's in the bottom camera in my left eye. Is there anything you can tell about? I don't know how good the light is. If you could see the reflection from my pupil, we could try and work out what the Incas were up to with those mirasols. I don't think they made them just because I would come along and wonder what the hell these things are. But they seem to be, they're like a pin, they're like a hat pin, but with a big flat top. And they seem to have been made to look through. They have a tiny little eyepiece that's a bit above the center of the disc. And it's about 1 millimeter wide. It's quite a big hole. And there are apparently pictures of Inca holding them up like this against the sun. But I'm wondering if you could also maybe look down at the water. And the idea I had was that there was a holographic mind that could project images, and that if they all thought about the image they were trying to project, that this would be some kind of sighting device, and that they could project these images a long way away. I don't know what onto. Well, onto the moon if you did it from here. But I doubt they'd see the result. But maybe the Greeks saw it during the solar eclipse. That was the idea I had, that they were communicating to the Greeks by flicking that light on the moon during the eclipse. And there's that story by the French explorer, I've forgotten his name, D'Aubigny about oh look, a whole four deer in the field there. Isn't that great? Just grazing on the new wheat. Wow. Sorry. And they're not bothered by the noise. Don't know if you can see that. I don't think they barely show up. That's so grainy. Well, anyway, there's 3 on the right and 1 on the left. Maybe somebody with some fancy image processing software can extract it. If I hold the camera very still. But you see, this is all JPEG encoded, so I don't know if this is going to survive that, the correlations. This tech is just so junk. So junk. Because people are just trying to head just to stay afloat, to stop the world from ending. They've got to sell everyone a new fucking telephone every 2 fucking years. And that's the end of my video.